Welcome to PCOD Heal Naturally. PCOD, polycystic ovarian disorder. Many women are suffering and we are looking forward for the well-being of those women. Most common disorder, and we don't know why emotions are involved in PCOD and how it affects PCOD. It is most overlooked topic. But actually, studies have said that emotional well-being is also related to PCOD. And today with us, we have Dr. Rajvee Sharma, consulting gynecologist and infertility specialist. She will help us and guide us about how emotional well-being is important for women, that we are able to handle PCOD and vice versa. So welcome, Rajvee.
Thank you, Dr. Yogita, for having me on this platform, and I really congratulate you for starting this platform, which deals with a multidisciplinary approach to PCOS, because it's not just a single person who can tackle this. So I really congratulate you for that.
Thank you, and I know in your busy schedule you've taken out the time and come for us. Rajvee, we see a lot of women, ladies, girls, young girls, all suffering with PCOD. And over the period of time, we see that they are following diet, they are following exercise, they are visiting gynecologists, but still there is something missing that we are not able to help them. They become very introvert, they are very conscious about their approach, and in their day-to-day life also they are facing a lot of stress, right? So does PCOD lead to stress, or does stress affect PCOD?
So that is really very difficult to say, but I will say that stress does have a very important role to play in PCOD. It may not be the cause of PCOD, but it definitely stress causes a lot of hormonal imbalances in PCOD patients, which impacts the girls, because PCOD is a disease of the adolescents and reproductive age group. 26% of adolescent girls are affected by PCOD. Now, the main factor is insulin resistance, which in short I'll just tell you, it increases glucose levels and this gets converted to fat. Now, the main symptoms of PCOD are because of the fat deposits, which causes hormonal imbalances, increases cortisol levels, increases androgen levels. Now, this cortisol level is responsible for a variety of symptoms like lethargy, sleep disturbances. Then it causes irritability. It causes a lot of, you feel hungry even after eating, sleepiness, especially midday after meals. Okay. So this then itself will result in overeating, obesity, and then a chain of reaction. So okay. It is a vicious cycle.
But does this PCOD, when the person is suffering, or is it because stress is there in their daily lifestyle? Like for children nowadays, there is so much peer pressure, so much competition is there, studies are there, extracurricular activity. In that also, and during exam times, they're sleeping late, they wake up late, and they are so much under pressures, even for admissions, you can say. Women otherwise, managing house chores and their office pressure. So does all this lead to PCOD or irregular menses? And because of which they land up into PCOD?
So PCOD is basically always there. So PCOD is not only if it is associated with hormonal imbalance, okay, then we call it a PCOD disease. Otherwise, it's just called polycystic ovaries, which is an ultrasound finding. Okay. Now, stress will aggravate the hormonal changes in PCOD patients. Okay. So if a patient is naturally stressed, like you said, young girls now, peer pressures and so many things they have to deal with. Right. So that causes hormonal imbalance, and then the whole vicious cycle starts.
That starts.
Yes.
So it is a positive factor.
Yes. It's a causative factor.
Okay. Right. So which other hormones are affected because of emotional?
So a lot of trauma which young girls they go through or have gone through. It causes chronic stress. Now, this chronic stress, it affects the HPA axis, which we call hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. Okay. Now, this axis is responsible for our stress response. Means body's response to stress. Okay. Now, this produces hormones like cortisol and oxytocin. Now, cortisol, if it is increased, it can either be increased or decreased. If it's increased, it will cause a hyperreaction. So you find these girls are irritable, very anxious. They're always in that fight or flight state.
Yeah.
Then the second hormone, which is oxytocin. Now, this oxytocin is responsible for social balance, means our interaction with people. So if that is affected, then it affects the, they find it difficult to form new relationships or to maintain the current relationships. Then you have the sex hormones also, which then affect fertility at a little later stage.
So what you told us about this oxytocin, so that's why these girls go into that introvert mode.
Yes.
They don't want to meet people.
Yes. And now with this social media, so they get secluded, they try to get comfort from that rather than human interaction.
So it's like an escape mechanism. So they want to escape facing people. It's only because of the weight gain, or are they conscious, or it's overall that it affects the
Overall, because like I said, cortisol itself causes an inflammatory reaction throughout the body. And especially even in the gut. It affects the gut health.
Okay.
Visceral fat. Okay.
Right. That is the belly fat.
The belly fat. So a lot of inflammatory reaction takes place, which affects the gut health. So it could cause diarrhea, it could cause bloating, and you would have heard of IBS and IBD.
Right.
Okay, so all these are very common in young girls because of this.
And when this gut goes for a toss, so the good bacteria,
the microbiome gets affected. So the good bacteria decreases and the bad ones.
So that is the reason they crave for this raw food, the junk food, the sugar cravings that they
Exactly.
Okay. So the appetite goes on the wrong direction. Absolutely. And this gives them comfort also.
This gives them comfort.
So basically they get into a comfort zone.
Then again weight gain, then that leads to lethargy, more symptoms and more hormonal imbalance. Even now androgen comes into the picture, then they start getting androgenic effects like hair growth, acne, thinning of hair, which affects their self-image.
Does childhood trauma, some girls have gone through childhood traumas in the early age of 5 years, 7 years, 8 years. Does that also lead to PCOD, or does that hamper their menstrual cycle? Or is that a block in their mind which always remains?
So like I said, childhood trauma leads to a chronic stress, situation.
It is medical, emotional, physical,
Everything.
whatever.
Mental, everything. So that hormone imbalance is going to remain. Now, PCOD will only be detected once she starts menstruating.
Okay.
Correct? And still, we don't label a girl as a PCOD till she's around 17, 18. Okay. Even if we get the findings before that, because we don't do anything for it except for lifestyle management.
Okay.
No medical treatment unless symptoms are really very severe. We don't treat it before 17.
So you say diet, lifestyle,
is the most crucial part of the management.
So for young girls, basically,
yes.
And also the weight. But I think they should not be tortured or too much of repeating the same thing that they are overweight, they are not looking nice, they are becoming.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So that they form a self-image of themselves.
Right.
They need to change. They need to change that. I will only say one thing, that if you change your image within, outside everything will change.
Right, that is good. So basically, we have to understand that dealing with the teenagers also who are going through PCOD, not repeating the same thing.
Accept yourself as you are.
Right.
Appreciate yourself, and there's something called self-love. Just do that and do what makes you happy.
Great. That was a good one. Thank you, Rajvee. That was a great insight. You helped us sail very nicely through the emotional front, because everybody is just confused about how to deal with emotions and how to deal with PCOD. And it's a very thin line. And you made it very easy for all of us.
Thank you, Dr. Yogita, for having me here. And I'm so glad that you have come up with this, which will really help a lot of young girls sail through PCOD naturally.
Thank you, thank you. That was good. And we look forward that all you young girls, ladies, and women who all are suffering through this emotional front, self-love, balance yourself, give some time where you can relax and go the natural way of reversing everything with patience.